Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing a review of the Jurassic World Legacy Collection reimagined Roarin Real Feel Carnotaurus. Yes, I know that's a very long name, in fact one of the longest names we've gotten for a figure in this toy line, but anyways, let's jump into this review. And yeah, this is a pretty cool figure. Actually, I'm going to take the figure out of the packaging to take a look at the box a little bit closer, but first we have the reimagined logo. Then we have Roarin Real Feel Carnotaurus Legacy Collection logo. I'm happy that he's still doing the Legacy Collection since I think it's pretty cool toy line. And then we have like a volcanic background. It's like really cool actually. Having kind of like a volcanic background. This kind of looks like a fan-made box for a Legacy Fallen Kingdom figures, but it's not. Pretty cool. Also a slightly Kenner-inspired packaging. Then we have a picture of the figure back here and more information. Also we have the other reimagined set, which kind of sucks in my opinion. But again, taking a closer look at the whole box, if I move it backwards some. You can see, pretty cool. Go back to the front, also dirt texturing down there. And I'm probably just going to put this back in here real fast for a second. So that I can just take it back out and say that we unboxed it. Yippee. Not a clickbait, I unboxed it, even though I'm probably not going to put unboxing in the title. But anyways, let's take a closer look at this actual figure. So first off, let's start with the head, which looks really nice. Pretty simple paint scheme and sculpt. But anyways, it has a nice green eye, which is pretty interesting. And then one thing that I do dislike about this figure is that it does not have jaw articulation. Like, why, Mattel? Just give it jaw articulation. I know they did it so that you can be like the older figures, so it can be like opening its mouth like this. But there's two issues with this, in my opinion. Like, first thing, the old figure had, like, the original figure that is based off of, the old Kenner figure, its mouth was mostly closed. It wasn't entirely closed, but mostly closed, so when you actually did this, it actually opened the mouth quite a bit. Probably from, like, right here to, like, where it is now. So, having the mouth wide open means that it doesn't actually do that. Another thing is just, most people dislike that. To not really, even though it's kind of nostalgic, a lot of people don't really like that action feature, especially on this newer figure. So, generally, jaw articulation would have made a much safer way to go. Another thing I hear people complaining about is that another action feature that it has, which is roaring, which they added in, even though they kept this the same as the original figure. The original figure did not have any sound effects, so why did they put those on? Most people would have preferred to have jaw articulation and battle damage, which, honestly, I don't mind the roaring action feature, and I do think it's pretty nice. I just wish it had jaw articulation and also battle damage, and maybe even capture gear would be pretty cool to see with this figure. But anyways, moving down, the sculpt is pretty simple, pretty similar to most other Carnotaurus figures we've gotten. Though it's kind of, it does have quite a few differences, but yeah, nice black color scheme, nice osteoderms going down the back. Moving down the leg, nice and wrinkly, has pretty decent sized feet. And then we have the little tiny arms and rubbery, like most of this figure, kind of. Again, taking a closer look at the scan code, which is going to take me a second to get out. Okay, I got the scan code open for you guys can scan this into your Jurassic Facts app if you like. So, yeah. Anyways. Another thing that I do have to say about this figure is it's a real feel figure, but not too much of it is actually really real feel, and most of it just doesn't feel rubbery. Okay, the rubbery parts of this figure are literally like just this upper torso part, plus the neck. Because the head, even though it's rubbery, like at the top of it, the rest of it's kind of hard since, you know, it had to accompany the other parts. Then down here, part of the electronics means it's not really actually squishy, kind of just hard down here, just covered in rubber. Arms are rubbery, well, they always are rubbery on Carnotaurus figures. Legs are hard, and then tail is like hard until the very end where it's kind of squishy. So it's not too real feel. But yeah. Anyways, I am going to show off the other action feature now, which is hidden under the rubbery skin above the hips. There's a button. Some pretty nice sound effects. But yeah, I actually really hope in the future they also make another reimagined Carnotaurus based off the Lost World arcade / novel Carnotaurus. But yeah. Anyway, there's not too much to this figure. It's just a simple Carnotaurus figure mostly. But I am going to get into the size comparison. First thing, this figure measures in at about 16 inches. Actually, it's pretty long. And then at the hips, measures in at about 6 or 6.5 inches, and at the top of the horns measures in at about 7 or a little bit more than 7 inches tall. But now let's actually compare it to some things. So first, here's it compared to the original Fallen Kingdom Carnotaurus, though mine is a repaint. This one's actually quite a bit larger. I did not realize that. It was so much larger than the original Fallen Kingdom one. But I actually have one of the kind of like Toro-sized, a little bit bigger Carnotaurus, electronic ones. Though mine is customized. By the way, you can get this on my Etsy, link in the description. Sorry for the shameless plug. But it is also quite a bit larger than this figure as well. The head of this one is held slightly higher, but besides that, the rest of it's a little bit smaller. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Next, here's it compared to a Tyrannosaurus figure. I do not have the Red Rex. Didn't get a hold of that one. Maybe I'll get it in the future. But as of now, I do not have the Red Rex. Here's just a regular Tyrannosaurus figure. Should be about the same size. And something interesting about the reimagined lineup is that it is kind of just a mashup of the 93 classic figures mixed with the Legacy collection. The Legacy collection, at least according to Mattel, was kind of dying out. And then the 93 classic lineup was kind of just a limited edition thing for Jurassic Park 30th anniversary. So they kind of just mushed them together into the reimagined lineup, which the 93 classic lineup was great in the Legacy collection, though not a lot of people like it. And some of the sets are hit or miss, and figures are just hit or miss in general. Some of them are really good. And this Carnotaurus was a great first figure, but some of the other set that they released is not so good, and hopefully they can make some better ones in the future, but as of now, the Carnotaurus is pretty good. Anyways, here's it compared to a vehicle, and the 93 classic vehicle and Scutosaurus, which, I mean, I needed to get the Scutosaurus, so that's like the reason why this is the only one I have of the 93 classic figures. But, yeah, anyways, next, let's compare it to the last thing I'm going to be comparing it to, which is a Velociraptor and human figure. And, yeah. Now for my final thoughts on this figure. I think that this is a great figure, though it is a bit pricey in my opinion, so I definitely recommend the wait till it goes on clearance or you can get it at a discounted price. I do think that this is a pretty good figure, though, again, think it would have been better to be in kind of a similar price as the Gigantic Tracker, or now going to be Gigantic Thrasher figures, since I think it is a bit pricey to be just for what it is. I feel like they could have at least included capture gear and maybe a piece of battle damage plus jaw articulation. I think it'd be worth the price that it's being charged at. But due to the lack of those things, I do think, again, it's a bit pricey. But anyways, I do enjoy this figure and I'd recommend you guys pick it up again at some point at a discounted price. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.